back in that mode. I just came to snatch some souls again. Need like 10 or more. If I'm crashing out by M&M's, hold on, play it slow. I just sit back and post up the fence. Know just how it go. If I move too fast, this shit get tense. I just play my role. I can't help myself, that's how I'm built. Money falling over. Only time my pockets tilt. Yeah, water faucet drip. Yeah, fuck them politics. Yeah, miss a folly's bit. Known to stack them walking chip. Let's go.
Which camera I need to look at?
No, I'm about to say, you ain't worried about the cameras, nigga.
Just look at it.
Don't worry about the
cameras. You gonna do the intro or not?
All right, man. Listen, man. Check it, man. Welcome to P Masters. Our first podcast. Excited to be here. I'm Mark. Got my other brothers here with me. They can introduce themselves.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, man? My name is Aaron. You can also call me Trayvon. You feel me? That's the artist name. You know. Yeah.
Good.
Chad, sorry for the wait too. But I had y'all waiting for a minute, man.
All right, Tunchi, nigga.
Facts. So yeah, we're gonna get into it today. Start the podcast off. We're gonna be talking about a lot of different things. But first thing we want to get into is Twitch. I know a lot of y'all heard about what happened a couple of days ago where he committed suicide. And basically, if you're not familiar with the situation, their anniversary was like maybe 3 or 4 days prior to him killing himself. And everything was fine. Everything looked good on social media. Everything looked good between them. And he just abruptly left. His wife noticed that, he was distraught. She called the police. She filed a missing persons report. Several hours later, they found him deceased with a self-inflicted wound. And it just goes to show, like, in the community, black community, any community, that people are actually going through stuff, and you never know, so, that saying where they say check on your strong friends and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, different experiences that we've had individually, just kind of bring awareness and try to, fight those stigmas that we have and overcoming those things and not letting those things kind of shape you, and just making it open forum to where it's okay to talk about these things and, kind of find some reassurance within having those conversations. So I guess kick it off by just asking, like, for y'all, do y'all have like any experiences, I guess going through life, things that y'all been through or still trying to overcome in life that, has helped shaped you and kind of like transform you to, where you are today? I know, Chad, you're a father, and, Aaron, you got things too. So just kind of open it up that way.
I don't really have any, like, I think I've been blessed to not really have any like situations that have taken me to a place of that stature. I've had, peers who have definitely kind of alluded to, or even like it was a girl on Facebook that I remember that I literally don't even know her. I don't even know how we were friends on Facebook. But one day, this was like 3 years ago, like before COVID, she just posted, she was like, I don't even want to be here anymore type thing or whatever. And I think I still got the messages. And I just reached out because I was like, look, I don't know you, but like, you need somewhere to vent. You need somewhere to talk. Like, what's like, not even on no weird shit, like what's going on. And she opened up. Like, she opened up. She was just like, I'm just dealing with a lot right now. And we're still friends on Facebook to this day. We don't talk, but I can tell her statuses are just better. So I don't know what necessarily happened, but you just never know if like you reach out to somebody, even if it's just like a quick little sidebar. If you don't know them, that it could turn some shit around. I'm not trying to take credit for nothing.
That's respect though.
But it don't matter. Like, I know people be like trying not to bother people or like trying to intrude on people's lives, like in social media. And I get it. Like, some people do get, harassed on social media, especially women. So it might be a little hard for a man with good intentions to like slide in the DMs like that on something of that stature. But if you see somebody talking like that, do it. Like, check on them. Like, it really doesn't matter the point that you're at. Like, the worst that they can say is, I don't want to talk. Or the worst that they can do is not reply. Like, but if you reach out, 9 times out of 10, in my experience, I've had several experiences like that, but 9 times out of 10, they'll reach out and they might even talk, you know. They might even just open up to the stranger, and that might be what they needed. Unbiased people that's not involved in their life directly.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So,
No, I agree. 100%. What about you, Chap?
So, like with the whole Twitch situation at RIP, then I feel like a majority. You know, I don't even want to limit it to just saying like a black man can relate to it, even though we can. Like, just as a man in general, like it's hard. Like on a day to day, like you know, like you can look in your friend's eyes, like. You feel me? Whenever you hanging out with them or, you know, your peers or whatever, and you'll never really, like, truly know what they going through. Everybody got their own battles and, you know, like, from what I was reading up on, like, after that situation, it kind of bothered me because I kind of don't know, like, what his feelings were or, you know, what his camp was looking like if people was checking in on him because, I don't know, it just bothers me, like, because I don't know. I feel like I'm a strong man. Like, I'm very standoffish. I really like new people, very nonchalant. But at the same time, I'm kind of extroverted, which I never even really heard of Twitch before this whole situation.
Same.
But, like, of course, like, whenever some news hits, like, the media like that, you know, you kind of want to dig into, okay, I know what happened to this dude, like, let me kind of dig into, like, his personality. I'm watching different videos, not even related to specifically to the incident that happened, but just looking at him, he appeared to me like a happy dude. Like, who wouldn't want to be on the Ellen Show? Who wouldn't want to have notoriety? I wouldn't even say he was super famous, but who wouldn't want to have notoriety? There was people that loved him, but he still was dealing with some internal battle or...
Yeah. And he had a beautiful family. Beautiful family.
Beautiful
kids,
family,
wife.
You feel me? Like... It was just, I don't know. It kind of hit me a little hard, and that's why, like, even this week I was going through my own little situation, you know, like where I texted y'all I was going through some things or whatever. Like, on the outside looking in, Chad appears to be, like, completely humble, funny, charismatic, but, like, I related to the situation so much because I'm just like, damn, like, you know, what about when he was alone? Like, what was going on, like, in his brain? Like, was he truly okay? Because people could ask me if I'm okay all day, but if you don't do any more digging, like, past, like, the surface level, that's all you really gonna get. Like, I'm all right.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like we, you know, as a group, you know, it's a lot of us that we know each other. You know what I mean? Like, we come together and we have a group where we have fun. You know, we can have fun with each other, but we're also serious. You know, we talk about life experiences, different mental aspects. I've been in a group before with things that I'm going through, you know, and spoke on, and, you know, just to get that positive reinforcement from your friends, that, you know, that commitment. Like, you know, when you hit us up the other day, I'm just like, hey, pull up. You know what I'm saying? Like, pull up to the house, let's talk. You know, we have Zoom sessions, you know, to talk about things and, you know, just express our feelings and stuff like that. I think it's very paramount to do that. You know, to help each other, you know, and like to your point, like, I don't know if he had that outlet or, you know, if people picked up on that stuff, because, I mean, I think out of the group, like, I'm very, you know, personable. I'm very social. I'm introverted. You know, I like having fun and stuff like that, but it can be just a surprise sometimes that I go through stuff. You know what I mean? I call Aaron, you know, I'll call, you know, and, you know, some of the stuff that I say may be surprising, you know, because it's just like your personality, you know what I mean? So it's just important to just, you know, talk about those things and get those things off your chest. And like you said, it literally is check on your strong friends. Like what you did, Aaron, with that girl, didn't know her. Like, I do the same thing on Instagram. You know, I see people on Instagram, like maybe a story or something. I may not even know them. I may know them. I'll reach out and just send them like a positive message. Like, hey, like, I don't know what you're going through. I'm not trying to get your business, but, you know, you're enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you need anybody to talk to, just a listen there. I'm here. Like, I know you may not know me, but, you know, just an outlet. And like you said, I've had positive reinforcement from that, positive feedback, and, you know, just trying to be a good person. I just think it's very important and special to do that. So, any specific, you know, feelings or like any like relatable things that maybe like y'all have gone through, like in life, I don't know, maybe childhood up to like now that, you know, y'all want to, you know, I guess get into or discuss, like.
like I said, man, that's one of the things that that's one of the things that I think I can't really. Of course, I can speak on it. Like I can be an additive to the conversation, but I've been blessed in the mental and emotional support section of my life.
Is it because of therapy? You go through therapy? Or?
I mean, in my adult years, yeah.
Okay.
Like, well, I ain't even gonna say all of my adult years. Like in the past 3 years, yeah, I started therapy. But as far as like growing up, like my dad created like a safe space from as far as I can remember. Like I could express myself. It didn't always go over well. You know what I'm saying? Like we might have had like little tiffs, especially like when we got to the teenage years, we definitely bumped heads. But everything that my dad preached pretty much came into fruition in some form or fashion in my life. Same with my mom. Like even like my mom, like my situation was a little different. I would go out to her every 2 weeks on the weekend and be out here in Atlanta with her, and I'd be with my dad full time at Toccoa. So majority of my experiences are with my dad, but I never had a problem with speaking on my emotions because my dad just allowed me to. Even if he had to give my ass a whooping, like afterwards, after I expressed what I said, there was still an open forum for me to say it, even if. Because whatever I said might have been disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? It might have been hurtful. Right. Whatever the case may be. But he never said don't speak or don't say what you feel. So I think the stigma there for black men in particular to where we can't speak nowadays, especially because like when it comes to dating and stuff like that, like you feel like you got to hold everything in. You feel like you don't have a safe space to speak. I feel like even if we go into a deeper analyzation of it, I feel like that contributes to like the cheating aspect of like relationships, because most of the time you good where you're at as far as like with the person, but you just may feel restricted or whatever the case may be because you can't get those mental and emotional vulnerable points.
Perfect point. So to segue, I know you said you do therapy, so like why is it that like, you know, the stigma behind, especially in the black community, like we look down on therapy? You know, because we don't look into like how important that could be to, like you said, when you're going into a new relationship or even, you know, childhood traumas, things that you're going through, like to kind of talk those things out, because we're all broken in some sense. You know, we all go through certain things. Absolutely. We all have trauma. So like why, like the stigma behind therapy, like how did that help you? And like what made you just like seek that avenue? Well,
that's what I'm saying. I've never been held to the constrictions of like what society deems to be a man, and I feel like
facts.
A lot of my experiences stem from that. Like I've always been a differenter, you know, like going back to the Travis Porter days, but I've always been facts. I've always been different in that sense. I've never cared like if you don't want to hear me talk about. I've dated girls who like they're like, oh, this is getting too emotional for me. All right, well then, be out. You know what I'm saying? And I've also had times where I've been closed off as well because I might have got in my head or whatever. But I've never held myself to the standard of, I got to be this masculine male in the sense of like what it's portrayed to be, because there's so many sides to different people. Like I'm a hothead. You know what I'm saying? Nobody would know that I'm a hothead unless they're close to me.
Right.
Or if they have some type of
we know because we your boy.
That's what I'm saying.
We know because we your boys.
If they don't have like an emotional place in my life, then I don't give them a reaction. But if you have like some sort of tug at me, then you can get to me kind of easily. And I've been working on that in therapy, because it's like I have like little tick marks that like I have to assess like when I'm getting to a certain point. So it's like I try to keep myself in check to not get to a point to where I just blow up, because when I feel justified, I can blow up. But saying that to say there's different sides of people. Like I have my gentleman code switching persona, and it's the real me. It's just a different side. And then I have like you want to bow up, like I was in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in the hood. I've been around damn near everything that you can name. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as seen a dead body, seen drugs being dealt, and all that stuff. Did I do it personally? No. You know what I'm saying?
You look like that?
I just didn't know.
I mean, bro, I was out
That's
here.
the purpose of this.
I was out
Yeah,
here. That's
facts.
what I'm saying. Like when I came with my mom.
That's new to me too.
When I came with my mom, me and my cousin, that stay off of he did stay off of Renan at one point, but he stayed off of Covington Highway. Man, we got into some shit, but I wasn't personally into the shit that we got caught up into. It's just what we were around.
Right.
So
Yeah.
most people don't know that, and then like I be seeing like women be women be talking like if a man can talk about his emotions, then he doesn't know how to be solid or hard,
That's bullshit.
in a way.
Why you say that? Why you
Yeah,
say that?
why you go
That's
ahead.
bullshit. I mean, like, that's kind of unfair. Like, I feel like the perfect way I be describing shit. Let's say I get into it, with my partner or whoever I'm dealing with. I always, and I know this ain't the right way to approach everything, but I feel like I'm a realist, not a fearless. So what he was saying is like, whoever he was dealing with at whatever specific time, like, hey, I feel like it's not right. I feel like, a man looks like this, but you're not a man. So let me kind of teach you, like, how I operate. I'm sorry. Let me teach you, how I operate. Whatever. You may not be super receptive to everything, but at least respect it. Like, and that shit go vice versa. I ain't gonna say like every time, sometimes when a woman tells me she feels a certain way, I get stuck in a mindset like, hey, but this is the real, like, this is the facts. This is what I'm telling you. This is what it is. It's stamped. Well, I still feel like such a, in the back of your brain, you be like, the shit is not logical. But I'm not like the master communicator. But one thing I'm learning, like, with each year that goes by, you got to be receptive to how people feel, and you got to be receptive to the real too. It's like it's like a catch-22, because it's like, like if I'm trained to be a certain way, it's very hard to see something from a different perspective.
Yeah. So like earlier, like when I had mentioned like the therapy thing, like I saw like you had like a small little reaction. Like what's your take on like the therapy thing? Like, how do you feel about?
Therapy is cool, but as I mentioned, like, I'm not the type of nigga to be just talking to somebody I don't really know for real. Like, it's hard enough to get me to talk to people that I know.
Facts.
For real.
True. So let me ask you a question. So like, when it comes to like talking to people that, I get it, the uncomfortable feeling, like going into a room, you don't know this person, you talking about your issues and stuff like that. Like, could it be beneficial? Could it be beneficial though? Like to have somebody who doesn't know your situation to kind of maybe give you a different perspective?
To me, the way my logic works, and it may be wrong, no. So an example I'll give is like, let's say it's a criminal from the east side of Atlanta. You feel me? He grew up in a certain situation. I've seen his people die. I've seen families get broken apart. I've seen people go to jail, prison, and all that. When he go to court, he getting convicted of a charge. Let's say he catches a charge. When he go to court, it's very hard to get a judge that don't know you, whether it be white or black. They just grew up whatever way they grew up, which led them to being a judge. It's kind of hard to get them to like identify like what was going on in real time to lead people to different situations. Even the court system, that shit is stupid to me, because it's kind of like whenever you just break whatever rule, whatever there's no sympathy, no nothing for whatever you've been through, even things that are out of your control. It's just like, my nigga, like, based on this charge, you get 5 years, so take that. Like, damn, I can't get no empathy, like, based off of me sharing my experiences with you? That don't happen. So that's the same way my logic works with therapy.
So that's how you feel,
all over the place.
No, I get you. No, I feel that. So, like, do you feel like, I guess, whether it's therapy or not, like, the things that you may have been through or whatever, like, how do you feel like that shaped you now? Like, how, like, do you want to speak on that? Like, or how, like, like the things that you've seen or saw, or like, do you feel like that shapes your like opinion on, or not your opinion, but like how you are towards women, or like how you are towards life, or just like your situation? Like, how do you feel?
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah,
I
speak on
feel
that a
like
bit.
shit, anything anybody go through is gonna affect them, whether it be, like, I feel like the shit I've been through affected me positively as far as like being the father, like being the present father. So I do have 2 kids, 2 baby mothers, but I'm proud of myself because I'm still able to keep my kids close and all that. You feel me?
100%.
But in different facets of life, whether it be communicating with friends or, you know, a life partner or whatever, that shit definitely...
Who the mic to?
It definitely affected me in a negative manner, I think, initially. But, like, the older that I'm getting, like, you know, I'm learning. So... Damn.
Shit. gotta blow that shit out.
DeMarcus, you're loud ass, bro.
My bad. Hey, I gotta get the Jamie Foxx. Had to blow that shit out. Shit.
Loud ass.
But yeah,
I ain't mean to kill the boo, but shit, I'm about to die.
no.
But shit. So, do you feel like sharing like what?
Yeah. So I guess we can dig in the chat a little bit.
Let's dig into a little bit of Chadwick.
Yeah. So, and I feel like this will be better. I can get through this easier if like y'all kind of like pick my brain and ask me questions.
Yeah, I got you.
Throughout what I'm sharing, but so pretty much born and raised in Georgia. I was born in Atlanta. Grew up in Gwinnett County. Raised by a single mother, mother of 6 boys, and I don't know my father. Some of my brothers know their dad and shit, but I don't really know my father. But you know, I don't even feel like that really affect me, to be honest. But
so it doesn't bother you that you don't know that you never met him before at all? Do you think that that's like a cause I mean normally in a situation like if you don't like a lot of kids and stuff. Like, it affects them. I know, like, me, like, my wife, like, she didn't meet her dad till she was 21. And I know, like, you know, I knew her since she was 14. So I knew, like, from 14 to 21 that she was always wondering, like, you know, who her dad was or, like, how he would be, X, Y, Z. Like, it's just like, I feel like a natural feeling.
It really
like,
didn't affect me. And I saw Aaron's reaction. It may have been a little bit different, you know, if you were in my shoes in your situation because you was the only kid for a majority of your childhood or whatever. But for me, I'm the second youngest of 6 boys, so I always had men to like look up to. You know, my brothers taught me how to throw a ball, ride a bike, play sports, fight,
haircuts,
how to eat. What'd you say?
Haircuts. All right, my bad.
That's crazy. My brother did teach me how to cut hair though. But
he sucks.
you know, like I ain't never really felt the effect of not having a father. What I did feel the effect of though. Is so my mother was with a dude. I ain't even gonna say his name. I fucking hate this nigga.
Okay.
But from ages, I know it was about 13 years. I know like 13 years was the final time I saw this nigga. I was like, good. I hope he die. Whatever. That's really how I was feeling.
But why though?
Like.
So yeah, I'm sure you're gonna get into it. But why?
We grew up in a house. What did you say the term I could say? I want to make sure I say it.
Don't say nothing.
So
DV.
I grew up in a DV type situation. If y'all have any questions, ask in the comments or whatever. But pretty much, I grew up in an environment where, like, the norm for us to see was arguing, fighting. I done seen my mom get beat to the point where I can't even recognize her. I can say that?
Yeah. You just can't say the words.
Okay.
Yeah.
I done seen her get beat to the point where I can't even recognize her. Like, and this shit the norm, and like, nigga having to go to school and shit and always, you know, kind of put everything I saw on the back burner. And, like, being that it carried on for so long, like, it literally got to the point where I really thought, like, everybody family operated like this. Which is sad.
You felt like that was your reality.
You feel me?
Like
Until I get out and I'm seeing, you know, situations. I'm not saying they were perfectly healthy, but at least it appeared to the eye that it was healthy situations, you know. But pretty much that whole situation, it was just a bad situation. Like, the nigga was strung out on drugs and all that, which I didn't find out until later in life. Like, you know, once you start getting to a certain age as a young man, you starting to ask questions. Like, you know, I wasn't never mad at my mom or anything.
But how did it make you feel, though?
Wait, hold on. Let me think about that.
Okay, yeah, think about that. Like, how did it make you feel to see that, though?
Because remember, the reason I gave you that reaction was because there was a time back in, it was near the end of college.
We known each other for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like
Yeah.
after we were done or whatever. But we had a conversation about how you felt about your dad and how you felt about your mom.
Yeah.
During that situation.
Well, that ain't my dad. Let's be clear.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
It was her boyfriend. You mean my real dad?
Yeah, we talked about that in addition to. That's what I'm saying.
Just to check, was my answer consistent with what it is today as a 31-year-old?
With you saying that you didn't care about not having a dad, no.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Because when we talked about it, me and you actually, I don't know if you talked to anybody else, but me and you kind of talked through like your feelings on,
like on a deeper
not
level.
having a dad and like what you were feeling towards that and like what you would want to say to him. You don't remember that? Like,
I remember having a conversation. I don't remember what
so it
I had shared
affected
with
you is what I'm saying. It affected you in some form or fashion. Does it cripple you? I don't think it cripples you.
Fuck no.
But it affects you.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that was my answer after. Or actually, I do remember there was like a brief period. This shit lasted maybe like 4 days, my nigga.
So
Hold on. Let me. It really lasted like 4 days where I had some curiosity, but then after that, I'm just like, nigga. At this point, I'm my own man. Like, there's nothing else that's going to be done. I can't go back and fix anything.
That's true.
There's nothing else that's going to be done in my life that's going to mold me into more of a man. You know, up to that point, at least. Of course, I still got my own like growth or whatever that I got to deal with, like moving forward. But at that point, it was like, my nigga, this shit done. It's sealed already. Like,
so how did that affect your viewpoint? Because I mean, obviously going through that's traumatic. I mean, I think we all can agree it's a traumatic thing. I mean, even though you may internalize it, but what impact did that have on you, like with dealing with like women and stuff like that in the future? Because you going through that and shaping that, and you not seeing, like you said, like that was your norm. And I'm not to say that you done anything. Oh, you
mean
like
the DV situation?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that you done any like DV type things to other girls.
Oh,
but, like,
that
how
shit.
did it shape your mind to deal with like females, like or like you growing up, like because you didn't really have an example?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, it definitely had a negative impact, which I didn't really realize until I had the opportunity to grow and learn, which I'm thankful for. Like, because life would have been really sad if let's say I was a past young. We all know people who done passed a little bit younger in their adulthood. Like, I'm just thankful I'm able to get to the point where, you know, I've been able to make like conscious decisions to like rectify the past or whatever. But definitely like when I came to my own, like, you know, I consider myself a grown man really at like 18, my nigga. Like, I've been working since I was 14, like providing, you know, for at least the things I want. Mama was taking care of everything that we needed or whatever. But, you know, as far as like when I consider myself a man, it was when I was 18. Like I done moved out of my mama's house when I was 18. I ain't never been back, even though I'm always welcome, but I ain't never been back or whatever. But like when I really got into the real world, it was just like, it was a bit confusing for me, and it ended up in, you know, me like hurting several women, which I done already did my apology tour. Y'all probably watching this shit right now. Like, let me see, what was going on in his head at the time. But I was mistreating people, my nigga. Like, so pretty much, if we want to look at my life as a book, like chapter 1 was, you know, the good kid, Mad City type shit. Good kid placed in a situation, you know, that kind of helped mold like years that came after that or whatever. Second chapter is hurting people, if we want to call it that. That's chapter 2 of Chad's life. So in that portion of my life, like I wasn't really like handling people with care. Like I don't think any woman, at least that I dealt with, would say I was a bad nigga, but it's like I don't know. I could have done better at communicating, better at being faithful and loyal and choosing an option. Like, if I don't want to be faithful and loyal, I'm fucking 22, 21 years old. Like, you know, just hit the town, do whatever you want to do. And then whenever I'm ready to settle, I'll do that. But I didn't necessarily have that training. Like I said, my brothers taught a nigga how to, you know, fight, play sports, ride bikes and shit. But they left this key part out. Of like right. Being loyal,
so
being faithful.
How did you figure that out though? So like, how did you feel like if you saw DV growing up, how did that make you not do that to girls that you were with, or like go to that extreme? You know what I mean? Because that was, you felt like what the reality was. You didn't see, you know what I mean, anybody else going through that, and that was your reality. So like, how did you feel like that made you feel like that wasn't right? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like,
I come from a cloth of like, you don't really. This is going to sound crazy given the fact that I was a serial cheater or whatever, but just hear me out. The way that my brain was operating, just facts. So
man, hey,
the way my brain was operating at the time was like, as far as the DV situation is concerned, like, you know, like I wouldn't ever want to put nobody through no shit that I wouldn't want to go through. You feel me? So anytime I've been in situations where it could have, you know, got there with women, which really was rooted in how I handled them at certain points or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I always kind of remove myself from the situation because I done already been through that before. That was chapter 1. Mm-hmm. We done moved past that. I'm not dealing with none of that zero tolerance policy, no fly zone for that. So it affected me positively in that way, but you know, I always share with y'all, like, as far as like how I was handling women at a certain age, which I'm doing a way better job about making a conscious effort to like really be like a good dude, solid dude, honest dude. Like at that time, I just wasn't handling nobody with care because I feel like, you know, again, it's the hurting people situation. I felt like shit, I ain't getting handled with care. Like I wasn't really caring for real.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Or I would care, but you know, it'll be after I done already did some damage. It's
but you feel like, it's probably like shit. Well, I done been through this and I done overcame, so like it is what it is. Like, I mean, I get that.
And
that's real.
That was a part of the growth. That I mean, it's not good, but that's just where I was at the time. But so from there, like, you know, I'm in a place like where I'm still, of course, dealing with like my little childhood trauma and, you know, situations that I went through. You know, trying to be a better dude and just trying to communicate. Really, I'm at a point now where I just want my human experience with anybody to be pleasant. You know, and if we want to bring it full circle and get to where we started at with the Twitch dude, you know, maybe he had some pleasant experiences, but he didn't have pleasant experiences from the people that truly like matter to him. So that's why, like, that's what I'm really on. I'm just trying to connect with people, like on a level to where, you know, like you can't ever say like Chad had put you in a situation where you were uncomfortable, you didn't feel open to communicate. I might look at you crazy when you tell me some shit like, damn, that shit dumb as fuck, but whatever. I'm still gonna be receptive to your feelings. You know, oh, I thought that was a hookah. I'm tripping. PTSD. But yeah, that's just the level that I'm on, and of course I still got room to grow or whatever. But you know, I feel like I'm making the conscious efforts to, you know, first and foremost deal with my childhood trauma. Second, have meaningful interactions with people, be an open forum for people, because that whole situation that happened with Buddy, like I said, I wasn't like in tears or nothing, but I felt connected with it. Like, damn, bro, like that could have easily been me or somebody I interacted with.
Yeah, I want to just say, like, just based off what you're saying, I appreciate you being open. Like that's really dope. Like, it's a lot of stuff that you talk about, like, you know, that I didn't even know. You know what I mean? And I just know the Chad from when I first met you at Kennesaw or whatever. And like, I'm proud of you, bro. Like, you made a lot of strides. You know, we had a, like, y'all don't understand. Like, it's deep. See, you too, right? You too. I bet.
Sticky
So
as
it's
an
not
egg.
just, what you just say?
Nothing, right? Go ahead.
All right, so, like, I'm proud of you, bro. Like, you know, I remember, you know, college and, you know, you going through all this stuff, man. You're a college graduate. You know, you work, you got 2 kids, you know, and, you know, you've been taking care of business. Like, I'm proud of you. You know, I know it's not a, you know, an easy road to travel, you know, and it's growth every day. I mean, because we know in this life, like, every year, you learning yourself and you getting new things out of life and new perspectives. And, you know, there's still things to be learned. You know, there's still things to be, you know, to be done. But, you know, that's dope. Like, you know, that you at least come to that kind of like that realization of kind of just like, you know, where you've been and where you are now. And, you know, and I mean, Aaron's known you longer than what I have. And I mean, he may be able to speak to some, you know, to some things better than me. But, you know, just from my perspective, I think it's about 6 years, 7 years?
It's been well over 7 years.
Oh, I mean, look, I'm not trying to count, but, you know.
I mean, I get I mean, you know, I guess it's turning into the Chad experience, which is cool, but making sure you're comfortable with that.
Facts.
But yeah, as long as we've known each other since 2010, and as long as we've known each other, the most you've opened up is in the past like 2 years, which is dope. It's like, it's kind of like, you probably don't know it, but you've taught me to let people kind of inch into their comfortability in life and like speak when they're ready to speak. Because I don't know if I've ever like tried to force you to do something. You can correct me if I'm wrong, or force you to say something. But what I've learned with you is that like, you'll come when you're ready. Like the love that you show, like how you show your love, is like it's different than how I do, and that's applicable to like everything. It's like you can't expect people to operate how you operate and talk how you talk, because not everybody grew up in an environment that you're able to be as open as I was with my parents and stuff like that. At least that's my origin of like why I'm so open with speaking, because I wasn't always like that either. Like there was a couple of times in college to where like people that I cared about, I definitely didn't handle them with care either, but maybe not in the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I didn't give them the best part of me. I think I've always been a good listening ear, but I've never like, I think the last like 3, 4, 5 years has been when I'm the one that's like, okay, I'm conscious and I'm gonna be the one that's gonna lead with vulnerability and like lead in that capacity. Like, and that's what it goes back to that stigma of men. It's like, I feel like men should be able to lead with vulnerability so that their women can bask in their femininity and like
Preach.
be comfortable with their man, because their man can handle, you know, various walks of life, as opposed to just being this brooding, you know,
That's a
man
valid
all the
point,
time.
Aaron. That's a valid point.
So, but like I said, that's in the past 3, 4, 5 years for me, and it wasn't always like that. But with you, like I said, you contributed to that, because it's like, as long as we've known each other and it's just now getting to the point where you can be open, it's like I'm so appreciative of the journey, because it's like I've seen everything play out, and then it's like it's always like a wonder, like what, at what point was it like, damn, I can go to my niggas and like actually speak on this shit now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of a mystery in a way, but it's a good one, because the journey is so, you know, unpredictable, and that's just what life is. So I'm proud of you too. I'm super proud of you. Like I had a conversation with one of your baby mamas the other day, and I think she heard me. You know what I'm saying? I think she heard me, because there's been hella growth, and just because one situation didn't work doesn't mean that another capacity of y'all's relationship can't thrive, you know, for y'all son. And you know, that's without getting into too much details, because I'm gonna let you divulge details if you want to.
I got a question.
But, yeah.
So, and I got a question for the floor, and then I'm gonna answer it first from my perspective. Then I'm gonna let y'all, answer the
Yeah,
question.
you need to answer something.
so-
You ain't no damn host, nigga. You ain't no fucking.
So go ahead.
You ain't just a
So
host.
so the question is, so the question is like, what would y'all say to black men that's in y'all situation like that, struggling with, some of the traumas of life or some of the things that they go through, whether it be, mental health or DV or, all the other things that, are out here. Because I think that, there's this stigmatism out there. Not stigmatism, like, it's just stigma.
Stigmatism?
Stigma. I got LASIK, all right? So stigma is gone, all right? Hey, if you don't got LASIK, get LASIK. But anyways, there's just stigma out there that, that a lot of people out there challenging. I know from my perspective, my dad, he didn't meet his dad till he was 21, and my dad has been amazing, in my life. Has been, prominent. My parents been married for 37 years, 40 years, and, he didn't have a playbook. He didn't have a script on how to do this and shit. But I mean, he knew one thing: he wanted to be a prison dad. He wanted to be what he wanted when he was growing up. You know what I mean? And I think that's where it starts. You know what I mean? It starts with having that motive and that understanding that you want to be different. You want to break that cycle and you want to be different. And I would have never known as a kid until I had those deep conversations with my dad that he would have never even known his dad. You know what I mean? Based off of the type of dad that he was. So I just think when it comes to struggling, like all the men out there, the black men, any men, that are going through these type of things, like, especially, going through college or anything like that, because I think social media and going through all the stuff that we see online and like how life's supposed to be, all these different perspectives that, you know, we don't realize like where we are in the moment and like how blessed we are in the moment. You know what I mean? To be where we are. You know what I'm saying? And living in your purpose and your growth. I know me personally, you know, seeing everything out there, and it's hard to kind of like dissect between what you see out there and what your own reality is. And you know, and I mean, I face that in my marriage. You know, I've been married for 4 years now, going on 5, and you know, there are challenges, and I think just being a kid and seeing how my parents were directly helped me be the man that I'm supposed to be. And hell, y'all know I go through, you know, I call y'all and be like, bro, like I'm just going through something, like I just need to talk to y'all, like, and y'all have helped me tremendously, you know. So, you know, there's a way out of everything, you know. There's a way out of everything. There's no end all be all, but it's a life course. Life is not, it's a race. You don't got to finish first. You know what I mean? So that would be my advice: is you don't got to finish first as long as you finish the race. And along the way, there are going to be detours and other things that you're going through. And I just think it's very paramount to let y'all know, like, it's, you know, just have the right people in your corner. Check on your strong friends, and you know, there's a way out of everything. You know what I mean? There's no end all be all. So I'll leave y'all to answer. You know,
I mean, I'm gonna piggyback off that because speaking directly to young black men, like if there's any type of confusion or any type of like doubt in your mind that you can be an all around man that can speak on his emotions, but at the same time still be respected, it's like it's about some of the company you keep as well. Because I keep saying that I'm blessed, but I am. I'm blessed to have like a friend group of males, of black males, and also a mentorship relationship with a few older black males that reinforce that on a daily basis. So did I always have that type of relationship and basis to stand on to be able to get to this point, like I said, in the last 3, 4, 5 years? No. But once you find that and you start to cultivate that, you'll start to understand that like life isn't about these quote unquote normalcies or quote unquote like what am I trying to say? Like, yeah, I guess normalcies is what I'm trying to say. Like, normal is subjective, and it's based off of like where you came from and how you grew up and how you process information, and everybody processes information differently. So you have to surround yourself with like minds that are going in a direction that you would like to go, not necessarily for their specific path and their specific journey, but that help you cultivate whatever you're trying to accomplish. So just make sure that your surroundings match your desired destination for sure.
Facts.
Well, what about you, Chad?
Yeah, Chad, when you answer that question, today, I also get facts. You are preaching that. My boy Aaron, always the voice of reason. When you need a phone, you got a problem, you call Aaron. Okay. On top of that question, Chad, I know because we spoke earlier. I know you were speaking about all that. Also, at the end of that, like, you know, also say how you healed. You know what I mean? Because I know we talked about the stuff that you was going through. Like, how are you healing? You know, on top of the question. You know okay. I know. Can you multitask?
Yeah, I can multitask. I think.
Multi-think.
Yeah, I think I can. So, what I was really gonna say is, like, bro, if I'm speaking to like the youth, and I don't know when this shit became like a major thing, because I'm not in that type of lifestyle, but like specifically to the black men, y'all gotta give each other like the opportunity to grow. Because like I said, if my life had ended like 6, 7 years ago, you feel me? Accident, gunfire, which I don't think I'll die that way. I hope not, but
you from Gwinnett?
So what that mean?
I'm just saying. I'm just talking shit.
You be shooting out there,
but the streets.
But the youth really got to give each other like the opportunity to grow, because like, you know, at my big age, like I used to get on the internet and be seeing all the murders and shit that be going on. I'm like, damn, like them boys going at it. Like I'll be looking at it like a spectator, but now it's just to the point like, damn, bro. Like, I be seeing, you know, kids, young men dying as early as, like, 16, 17 years old.
Atlanta Station, just recently, facts, like a 12-year-old or 13-year-old.
Like, it's little kids, bro. And I don't know if it's a top-down situation where, like the old heads need to start speaking to the youngest, or it maybe is, but I don't know what the fuck happened to the fighting days. Like when I grow up, niggas will fight, whatever. At the end of it, you be like, damn, bro, you have fucked me up when you hit me with the such and such. Then y'all can communicate and be like, well, this is the issue that I had, and it all stems from one, letting people grow, and two, being open to communicating. I think that'd be the biggest issue. Like, you know, that's the biggest issue.
Facts. I feel like that's how we are. Like, remember that time I slapped you at 12:26?
That's cap. That's cap.
It.
Tampa. You remember that?
You snuck me.
I had you running. You was running.
But we make up right afterwards. But
facts. Yeah. But as far as like what I'm doing the Hill, I think it's a bigger focus on communication. I'm not fully there yet. You know, like how even before we started recording, like Aaron was able to get on the phone and like openly communicate with his pops or whatever. I think that was because the foundation was set there from the beginning. Absolutely. So when y'all out here laying up, having these babies, make sure that is the biggest thing that you make a priority in your household. Like, come to me and talk. You don't know what the fuck going on. Like, whenever your kids step out into the real world, because it's really risky business. Like, every time my kids leave the house, I'll be like, damn,
facts. Bro. They be at daycare.
I'm about to shoot the whole city up. I don't even know why, bro. I'm about to shoot shit.
Facts.
Like, but like, real talk. But
Facts.
As far as like healing, I think I'm just trying to set the tone of like being able to openly communicate with people.
And your kids to see you.
Yeah. But for me, the thing though is I need it to be reciprocated. I can't just sit there and have you lay it all on me and then I can't lay nothing back without criticism or judgment. So that's the type of energy which I feel like I've always given off to people. Like nobody can come and talk to me.
That's a whole nother. That's gonna be a whole nother episode because we just got word from our management in the back. DeMarcus's wife. Shout out to Kiera Taylor.
Yeah, she been doing a lot.
Shout out Key.
So we just got confirmation that we coming up on our time for the first episode. We don't want to talk y'all ears off too much. You feel me?
Hopefully y'all enjoyed it though.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the first installment. Like I said, don't box us in. You know, there's layers. There's layers to different people. This is one aspect just because of the climate that we're experiencing in pop culture. So we definitely wanted to touch on it, but it's not always gonna be this serious. You know what I'm saying? But it's also okay. Like all things can exist. That it is this serious. You know, at times. So we definitely want to appreciate y'all for listening. Appreciate y'all for watching. Man, Peak Master to the death of us. And
1226 shit.
1226
for sure.
You feel
I said
me?
it first.
But like I said, we definitely appreciate y'all. Continue rocking. Comment, rate, subscribe.
Yeah,
you know
like, subscribe in the comments. Let us know what y'all think. You know, give us words of encouragement or things that y'all like, dislike, and you know, we're gonna take it from there. You know, hopefully, you know, y'all enjoyed us, and you know,
hopefully this shit drop before Christmas. Shout out to our director, man.
Yeah, facts. Oh yeah, shout out to Ryan.
Out, man.
To Ryan, he got the whole setup,
praise.
everything that y'all see here. You know, the lighting, everything. Ryan has been, you know, a great attribute to us, so we appreciate that. And everything else that we got going. So we appreciate y'all. Peak Masters.
All right, man.
We at.